Okay, this will be the jump cut from hell. Welcome to part 3 that I forgot to introduce. So, if you see the part behind me, I've already parted it off, but you're going to see the jump cut, so don't sweat it. There we go. Alright, apologize for the noise. It's a shop. It's a working shop. So, I Sharpie marked off the 1 inch. Notice, no jewelry. Short sleeves, we're good. Blades are dangerous. They can wad you up. This machine doesn't care. So, if you're not smart enough to run this thing, get some training. If you don't understand what's going on with this thing, I'm not insulting your intelligence. I'm trying to be, just completely frank about it. If you're not smart enough to run this thing, get smart enough to run this thing. These things will hurt you, and they don't care, and they don't stop. There's a 5 horsepower motor in here that's got a gear reduction to it. It'll wad you up and just spit you out. It doesn't care. This thing is capable of cutting steel. It has no problem cutting human flesh at all. So I'm setting the travel dial up. That's 0 on the edge of the tool, part off tool. We're going to dial in just shy of 1 inch. I like to leave about 20 thou. We're doing 270 RPM. In the back gear, high-speed steel part off tool, and we're gonna part off the front of this thing and see how it goes. My cutting oil is just dark threading oil with a little bit of molybdenum mixed in with it. Over here. Almost through. There it goes. And that part is a little warm. And like I said, I think this is a bad idea. I'm going to drop my iPad into the mess here. So we parted it off. We left 20 thou on. Rough measurement. They don't have to be. It's an overall length of the barrel. It ain't got to be perfect. It doesn't have to be 30 inches plus or minus 5. If it's 30 and 1/8, 29 and 3/4, who cares? It's not going to matter. We want it as close to 30 as possible just for consistency of loads, velocities, and even velocity is not going to matter that much on, 3/8 of an inch. You're not going to even notice it. The big one is weight. We want as much weight on the gun as possible. It's weight. We're trying to control recoil. We're trying to make these things consistent. So I'm going to face this off, and then I'll pop in a piloted center drill. And I was going to change speeds. Speed her up. There we go. Touch. Take about 10. Take another 5. Yes, a hot chip landed on my hand and I didn't flinch. So, I don't like that. There we go. Alright. Okay, we're back. We've got the piloted center in here. I'm going to lightly deburr with a little handheld countersink, and I'm going to blow the blow the barrel out just a touch. And then we're going to bring this up. I'm going to put a little bit of oil. And we're going to run this in. Until I get a slight on there. Nice clean cut. That's all I'm looking for. And that will help get the piloted counterboard on there in place where it needs to be. I've got to swap bushings on that as well. All right, we're back. So like I said, we're going to double check. Now we're getting into chambering. See how snug that guy is? Okay, so now we're in the process. We're going to recheck this thing, like I said, because all that force going across, parting this thing off, the setup probably moved. Most likely moved. So, dial this off. I have been doing a good job of keeping this into about 20 minutes, even though I forgot to introduce part 3, which we're already in. So, let's see if that's going to, that's not even remotely close here. Okay. Zoom out and flick row. Okay, so not a great angle for you guys, but you'll still be able to see the needle move. So we're now in neutral. Yeah, look at that. Just by parting off, we've now got 0.02 of run out. This is why you can never assume that your setup is good. You have to verify, you have to double check. And we're going to double check the rear end too, because now we're getting serious about this. Now we're getting serious about this. So, there's my high side. I'm going to crank that down just a touch, and I might loosen this just a bit, because that's getting a little snug on the opposite side there. Within about 7/10-ish. Don't quote me on that. And if you guys are going to sit there and leave comments in the, sit there and gripe at me in the comments, we're not worried about that. We can split hairs when we get down to 1/10 accuracy, So, hovering about, you see that? She jumped. That's the ball bearings in this thing doing that. Because now that jump is not there anymore. You see? And that's what you got to watch yourself on. Because you got to know what your machine is doing. Oh, that's nice. That's within a tenth and a half of run out. That's a tenth and a half of run out on here. And we're going to double check the back side. And like I said, I'll move the camera around so that we can really see. Okay, so the back side here is reading about 5/10 off. And we had it within about 2, I believe. Don't quote me on that one either. So there's our low side. Okay, I'm going to hold this as steady as I can, and we'll see what the heck we can get here. Notice that it settled in. had it better than this earlier. Now we're running out a little more. So I do need to snug up on the screws just a touch. See how, you see there? Something's not right here. And we're getting, yeah. Well, that's flex. There's not a whole hell of a lot I can do about that. I may put a smaller, go 1/10 smaller gauge pen and shove it in a little further into the barrel. But that's about as good as we can get it. On the back side here, let's see how, try and brace up. Two to three, you know, and that's probably going to be as good as I can get it. I don't know, we'll find out. All right. So I'm going to push on this just a touch more, just to see what we can do. That's looking like about 210. That's looking like about. Let's yeah, that's 2/10 run out. 1/10 and a half to 2/10. And I'm within 2/10 on the backside. And for this barrel and this setup, I honestly believe that's as close as I can get it. I would like to get it closer than that, but I don't think it's possible. I keep pushing it around, and it just it's not finding a happy spot. So there we are. Okay, so the pins come out. That was in there pretty bloody snug. Pins come out. Both ends, and now we can start really making this happen. So we're already faced off, parted off. There's our stub, whatever you want to call it. I got a stack of them over here. Powered by the other nectar of gods right now, coffee. Powered by Guinness later on. The cool thing with this tool, I'm sorry guys, I keep losing the iPad on the Wi-Fi of this damn camera, so I apologize. So the cool thing with this tool, this is that counterbore tool. The cool thing with this is it's already set up. It's already ground. It's a form tool. You go in until it touches off, and you don't have to monkey with it. I did change the bushing on this. This has got a larger bushing, a 237 bushing, because this barrel is 2377 on the 2377 on the bore on this side. That's the gauge pin that I was using. So. Low speed, 155 RPM. I'm going to blacken this with a Sharpie so that I can see when the large diameter touches. I just want to touch it. This thing, it cuts really well. Put a little oil on the now you guys can see what's going on here. See how much this thing howls, how much noise it's going to make. Seems the cutter don't want to cut. So what I'm doing here is there's a little bit of buildup on this tool, and it's causing it to not want to cut. So I'm just getting in here with a little diamond file and just gently rubbing the buildup off of these edges. Something you have to do. You have to do this even on the reamers sometimes. Especially on the reamers, what I've noticed is if you're not keeping your tools clean and prepped for doing this stuff, what can happen is you'll get chatter, and the chatter is coming from the buildup on the tool. So here we go again. Let's see if we can get this done. I'm going to move the tail stop closer. Alright, back there we go. Let's see if this cuts better. It's cutting much better now. Okay, so what we're doing is we're just going to keep an eye on that Sharpie mark. And when we just start to see that Sharpie go away, we'll just rub it. That's where we're done. There it is, we just touched. Pretty sure we just touched. Blow the chips off that. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to put this form inside this barrel with the rear of the shell casing sticking out, rear of the headspace gauge actually sticking out about 5 thousandths. So what we want to know is what is the diameter of our shoulder here, and that is showing on this piece of brass to be 4 inches and 53 thousandths. So we want a drill that's close to that, but not really close, so that we don't over drill. And then we also want to know what is the length of this. And that is looking at 1 inch 460, 1 inch 461. Figure out if it is the right size. It is a 7/16, 437, which is going to be really close to what we want in there. And I'll speed this guy up. RPM. Now the distance we said was 1 inch 460. We're not going to drill to 1 inch 460. We're going to go to 1 inch 375. Leave 100 thousandths to clean up with the reamer. And that ensures that you're not going to leave a mark in the chamber when it comes to your pre-drill. We do this to get rid of the vast majority of the material in the setup, in the chamber. So what I'm doing is I'm eyeballing the tip of the drill, the edge of the drill, the largest part of the diameter of the drill, and oh, maybe. There we go. So I'm eyeballing the edge of the drill, the large diameter of it, not the tip, at the face of the barrel here. And that's going to tell me where I need to go. So I can use my indicator on the back here. $200. $300. $400. $500. Pulse it a little bit to break the chip. $600. $700. $800. I like to stop a little early just in case I lost track of where the heck I'm at. Also, shoot a little oil in there. Let me come back. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Good, we didn't lose track. 10, so that's 1 inch. 100. 200. 300. 75. That's our pre-drill. That's it for part 3. Now on to part 4.